Hi Tamara, this is Miss Smith, your English 165 online instructor, and I want to offer you some video feedback on the key sections that you submitted for the semi-formal report. My goal is not to grade this at this point in time, so I'm not going to be looking for grammar. I'm not going to even be looking at content in a whole lot of detail. I just want to make sure that you're on the right track, and I'm mainly looking for issues of plagiarism. And so just listen to this recording and hopefully it will help you figure out what you need to do next to make your semi-formal report as strong as it can be. And so here in your discussion section, first of all, I think you've done a really good job with your consistent use of your headings. They look to be pretty consistent to me, and that's a good thing. And your subheadings also look consistent, so that's really good. One thing I would say is that your discussion section, it's very well organized. You do have some thick paragraphs there. So what I would say is to maybe break this large paragraph maybe into three separate paragraphs or two separate paragraphs, just to make it a little bit better for the reader. The reader will look at something with that much text and not want to engage with it. So go ahead and break that down into smaller paragraphs. And you need to include in-text citations in your discussion section. And so here in your discussion section, for example, you're talking about Miss Priscilla Abraham. Well, on your references page, you have a reference for your interview with Priscilla Abraham. So you want to make sure that you put in that discussion section Abraham in parentheses, maybe at the end of every paragraph where you're using information from Priscilla Abraham. Okay? And that's going to be most of it. So it's perfectly fine if after every single paragraph you put Abraham in parentheses as your in-text citation, because a lot of your material will come from that interview. Okay? And I also want you to make sure that you add in your in-text citation for kids in motion, right? So that in-text citation would say, for example, information. Or information for kids, for example. And so if you just want to use the word information, that would be fine as your in-text citation, okay? But you want to make sure that you incorporate that in your discussion section. So just at quick glance, I don't see where you're really talking about kids in motion in your discussion section. I could have overlooked it. But maybe after this first section where it says about Miss Priscilla Abraham, maybe after that you can do another subheading that says about kids in motion. You can incorporate information that you've received from the website in that section. It doesn't have to be super long, maybe two or three sentences, but that would then give you an opportunity to add that information in and put in an in-text citation for that information. Because remember, if it's on your references page, anything that you've listed on your references page, you need to make sure you have an in-text citation for it. Okay? And so now let's take a look at your introduction. Your purpose statement looks good, and your industry background statement looks really good as well. I would just say to match these two. So here you're using education administrators, and here you're using education administrators preschool and child care center / program. And so if you're using education administrators here, and these come from the same sources, then all you have to say is education administrators here, right? So you don't need preschool and child care center program. You don't need this part. Just go ahead and shorten that to education administrator so that it's consistent. Okay, good job though with the in-text citation and with your graph and with your introduction section. Okay, your references section looks good. You don't need the numbered list here, so you can take away the numbers and put it in alphabetical order. So start with Abraham, then go to education, and then information. All right, and your abstract, it looks pretty good at first glance in terms of your ABC formatting, your structure. It looks like you've gotten the idea of that, and you are giving me an overview here. You're telling me what you've done here, and then here you're telling me what you recommend. So that is what I'm looking for. Just make sure you go back and you double check grammar and spelling and sentence structure and all of that. But it looks like you are on the right track. So I hope you feel good about the work that you've done and keep working at it. And if you have any questions whatsoever, contact me on next week so that we can discuss it and I can help you further work through this report. Okay? Good job, Tamara. Thanks. Bye-bye.